What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to break down the first red day that I have had in 2024. Now, it's not so much about the money for me today because the red day is extremely small. It's more about the execution. It's more about the following of a plan that I failed to execute on. Coming into the day, if you came to the pre-market live stream, you're probably aware with the 471 level on the SPY, the 20 SMA on the SPY, that I was looking at for a potential hold and for potential upside. Now, when that bell rang today, there was a really nice rejection play that I caught early morning for a very nice profit and then tried again later in the day. But I failed to realize and I failed to follow my plan that if the SPY was above that 20 SMA, that we could see potential upside. So I went for another supply rejection play. Even though that SPY was holding that 20 SMA, the SPY continued higher as it should have, according to my plan, according to my technical analysis. But I stopped out of a trade, which was AMD. It was a put side trade looking for supply rejection, and it simply did not work because of that SPY demand hold. Now, it hurts because it was part of my plan to see that SPY hold, and I did not follow it by shorting other stock that would be influenced by that SPY hold. So I sort of broke my plan, and the result of that is a red day in 2024. So today, we're going to break down that AMD trade that I took. We're going to highlight that loss that I took, and I'll show you how I ended the day red. But before we start this video, we got to give a quick shout out to Marvin, the one of one Hezbollah Options Insider t-shirt. Thank you, Marvin, for the shirt. I love this meme. I think it's awesome, and thank you, Marvin, for that. So let's get started. Let's break down my day. Red day, first red day of 2024. Let's jump into the charts. All right, guys, so here it is. Here is my red day. It's a $138 red day. So the money is insignificant, right? The red day, it really is not a big amount for my account. My account's about $30,000, and that is a very small loss for the account. So it's nothing that really hurts me dollar-wise, but I know that I did something wrong, and I have to be responsible for that, right? As a trader, we come into the day, and we risk money every single day. We put a lot of risk on the table, and we have to be responsible for the actions that we take. And the actions that I took today were not good. They were not proper. I didn't follow the plan that I had. And I had the proper plan to look for upside, right? I knew what I needed to look for to trade upside today, but I did not follow it. When that bell rang, I did not follow that potential plan because of another trade that sort of caught my eye for downside. Now, the downside that I was looking for was off of AMD, and I caught this very nice for about a $600-700 profit early morning, but I tried it again. I tried the trade again after it pushed back to the upside, but at this time, the SPY was holding the exact level I wanted to see for that upside continuation. So over the last 2 days, I've definitely could say I've had a tough time grasping the upside moves, right? And I don't know whether that is because last week I had some really awesome supply rejection trades, about a $6,000 week last week, using supply as rejections and having some really nice reactions off of them. Today and yesterday, we have seen a totally different characteristic on the market. Instead of seeing those previous levels reject and move lower, we have basically seen all day grinds to the upside. So a little bit hard to adjust to that over the first 2 trading days of this week. But I know that I've done a very good job, and the one thing that I know I did a good job of is keeping losses minimal during this time, right? When I've had a little bit of trouble reading the market, I've kept the losses very minimal, and that I am happy about. So that is definitely the pro of my last 2 trading days, but I definitely have had some cons, and that's why I'm making this video and why I stay open with you guys, because this is the reality, guys. This is the reality of trading. You're not going to see $2,000, $10,000 profits every day. Now, you may see that online, right? You may think that that's the reality, but I'm not here to BS you. So today, let's break down the trades that I took. We're really just going to break down AMD because a few other trades I'm still holding, and I'll give you updates on those trades as I close them over the next few days. We're going to focus solely on AMD today. So I started the day very nice. I started the day with a $664 profit on AMD. This was a supply rejection of a key 147, 147.50 level. You guys can see right here. Entry, exit, took profits on the scalp to the downside. Now, why was I looking for downside on AMD at the time that I was? So let's go out to the hourly chart and let's review this chart and sort of talk about why I was looking for this downside. So coming into today, I was watching this pretty key 147, 147.15 level on AMD. I'll go ahead and draw that level out for you guys to see. You can see right here, right? We had a previous low in that 147 area, and we had a yesterday high at that 147 area. So if I go down to the 5-minute chart, actually, you know what? I'm going to go down to the 2-minute because this is where I traded it. If I go down to the 2-minute chart and we go to the market open, at market open today, we saw a very nice pop and rejection into supply. And I love to take those trades. And again, that is potentially why I've lost the last few days or had trouble the last few days, because I look for those pops and rejections a little bit more than maybe I should. But it has been profitable for me, so I'm not going to really change that. But the market characteristics over the last 2 days, that has not worked, right? That has not worked very well. So we can see market open, we pop straight into supply. We see a rejection. I catch that rejection for a very nice starting trade of the day. That is really where it all started. $664. My executions in around 932, out around 935. So 932 is this rejection candle, and I scaled out into the drop lower. Now, the reason why I scaled out into that drop is because I saw the SPY holding demand, right? And so this demand right here was the demand that I was watching for a potential hold today. This 431 level right here, 471 level, if I go out to the 30-minute chart, this 471 level where we bounced off of today was a previous low, previous high, previous high. We pulled back to that 20 SMA and we held that level very strong. And this was part of my pre-market analysis. If you caught the live stream, we talked about if the SPY holds above 471, we could see further upside. So if we go into the 5-minute chart and we go to the open at the SPY, we saw some very, very clean demand holds at the 20 SMA and near that 471 demand. So after realizing that, and after seeing that I was in an AMD put side trade, I was very interested in taking those profits quickly because I saw the SPY potentially holding, which would influence AMD higher. So I did good in that first trade, taking those profits, took the supply rejection. However, this is where I went wrong. So this was the second trade, and this was the losing trade that put me right on the day, and this was AMD, a $960 loser, and I'll talk to you why I took this position. So we got into AMD, right? I got into AMD back as we started to push towards that supply rejection that I took early morning. Now, maybe it's because I had that very nice rejection play early morning, right? You guys can see right here, we had that previous high right there, previous high. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on the extended hours. You can see right here, we had that previous high a day. That's from yesterday. That rejected early morning. So when I saw AMD starting to grind back to the upside, I was interested in shorting back into this name, looking for AMD to form somewhat of a lower high and continue to the downside, right? That was my mindset. We had previous day highs. We had that high that rejected at 147 early morning. I caught a nice downside trade off that. So I was confident to try to enter shorts again off that supply rejection once again. Now, when I entered, I thought that there was a very nice potential entry here, right? I saw some very nice wick rejections, some very nice wick rejections. I started to see AMD getting tired towards my supply level once again. So I said, okay, I'm going to enter some puts here, look to see if a lower high forms at this level, right? And then see if this continues to the downside. So I got into that trade, and this thing pretty much just crawled against me until I got stopped out. Now, there's a reason why I got stopped out of this trade, and it has nothing to do with AMD. It has everything to do with the overall market. The overall market, like we talked about this morning, and like I had in my original game plan, the overall market held the level that it needed to hold to continue to the upside, right? The S&P 500 futures held the 20 SMA, held that 471 demand, and because of that, it was going to move higher, right? If we go out to the 1-hour chart or the 30-minute chart, we can see that this was a break and hold of these previous highs. And that demand held very nicely today, creating that upside move. And that is what took me out of that AMD trade, due to that S&P 500 strength, as well as that NASDAQ strength holding on that pullback back to these lows, right? As well as the NASDAQ holding that strength, holding that demand today, and seeing that upside move, that is what took me out of AMD. So I should have been more conscious of what the NASDAQ and the S&P were doing at the time, right, before getting into short side positions. So I was entering short side positions while the NASDAQ and S&P were holding demands, holding strong, and that is what leads me to get stopped out. So overall, guys, really not a terrible day for me in terms of profit and loss, but for me, I really pride myself for watching the futures market. I'm very in tune with what the futures market is doing, and I definitely trade based off that futures market, and today I went against that. Today, I went against my beginning analysis of the SPY, of the ES futures and the NASDAQ futures, and I took shorts because of that AMD supply that was sitting above. Now, that AMD supply did not reject. It moved higher because that overall market was strong as well. So if there's one takeaway from today's video, make sure you are trading with the overall market, right? I made that mistake today, and that mistake will typically lead to losses, and that is what happened to me today. So I wanted to come on here, make a quick video, share with you what happened to me today. Hopefully a little bit of a learning lesson to some of you out there. If you guys are enjoying these daily trade recaps, right, I hope you are, because it takes a lot of work from me, and I'm definitely sharing everything, right? I'm sharing everything that I'm making mistakes on, what I'm doing well on, and I hope you guys are enjoying seeing that day by day. If you are, make sure to show your support, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.